1188揾房協同市建局傾㗎啦。
Hello and welcome to the Financial Report. I'm BRITTYN CLENNETT. Local stocks rose for a second straight day, climbing nearly 1%. The Hang Seng Index closed 217 points higher at 22,777. Turnover was $73 billion. The benchmark was lifted following big gains overnight on Wall Street and a rebound in the mainland property sector. Now let's have a look at today's most active stocks. China Mobile has lost 30 cents, CCB has gained 13 cents and ICBC has gained 13 cents as well. The AIA has lost 30 cents, Ping An has gained $1.55 and the Bank of China is up 9 cents. Hong Kong dollar cross rates, 7.75 to the US dollar, 11.70 to the sterling, it's 8.30 to 100 Japanese yen, 10.10 to the euro, and 100 Hong Kong dollars is 80 RMB. The London FTSE has gained 13 points. The London gold is bidding at $1,575 an ounce, and the asking price is $1,575 an ounce as well. The Frankfurt DAX has gained 71 points. The Paris CAC is trading 5 points higher. That's today's financial report. Join me for the main news after the break.
Coming up, main news and weather report. What happens out there is real. Get the latest European news and current affairs. Whatever happens, when it happens, you're always the first to know. Check in current news. European Journal, every Monday night at 8. Current events. Controversial issues. In-depth accounts of the latest news and happenings that impact us all. Get to the heart of the matter. Get real with Inside Story, Tuesday night at 6:55.
What the health is all about. They say it can be anything that improves the quality of life. Every week, the specialists will come on the show to give you tips on beauty and health. They will keep it simple, keep it real, and keep you in good shape. Every Sunday night at 7.
Reports directly from the heart of Europe. Every week, business insiders and analysts keep you at the forefront of current economic developments. Check in current news, made in Germany. Every Saturday night at 8.
When it comes to weather, you know it's accuracy that matters.
Weather report, tonight at 7:55.
We heard you have some great products to sell. How about making ATB's 2013 Add Easy package your one-stop solution? Our promotion reaches as far as the Pearl River Delta region and southern China, and our prices start at just $68,000. Call 3168-2232 or our mainland hotline now.
"天下风景美在广西。
Good evening. You're watching the main news on ATV. I'm BRITTYN.
And I'm BRITTYN CLENNETT. Here are tonight's top stories.
Siwa Leung tries to reassure politicians and public in Beijing that Hong Kong is not victimizing mainlanders with milk powder controls.
Elderly renovator fined $10,000 for construction work that caused Ma Tau Wai building collapse.
Latin America mourns death of Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez after a long battle with cancer. Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying is trying to win over politicians and citizens in Beijing offended by his government's new controls on milk powder being taken out of Hong Kong.
Leung is trying to limit the damage as the controversy is causing much resentment on the mainland and has sparked a heated debate among delegates to China's parliament and top political advisory body.
This has prompted a senior mainland leader to call for unity and support for the SAR government's policies.
Hong Kong members of China's top political advisory body today had a chance to meet one of China's most senior leaders. They took part in a panel discussion with Politburo Standing Committee member Yu Zhengsheng, who's tipped to take over from Wu Bangguo as chairman of the National People's Congress. Speaking after the meeting on the sidelines of the NPC and CPPCC sessions in Beijing, several Hong Kong delegates said Yu hopes members will unite behind the SAR government and support the implementation of its policies. Executive Councillor and CPPCC delegate Jeffrey Lam said Yu also warned that the development of the mainland and Hong Kong could be affected if groups in the city oppose Beijing. Hong Kong lawmaker Lam Tai-Fai said Yu believes solutions can be found to deal with cross-border problems, including the right of abode and the controversy over limits on milk powder taken out of the city. The new law restricting travellers to only 2 tins or 1.8 kilos of baby formula has sparked a fierce debate among delegates in Beijing. The controversial move is aimed at stopping parallel traders who sell baby formula for a profit across the border after evading taxes, and to ensure that Hong Kong has enough supplies of milk for its own residents. But it has caused much resentment on the mainland, where some delegates have accused the SAR government of overreacting and perhaps even violating the free trade principles enshrined in the Basic Law. Speaking to reporters in Beijing, Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying, who attended the opening session of the NPC, tried to calm the waters by stressing that the new law is not solely aimed at mainlanders.
First, we had tried various other measures before we decided on this route to limit the export of infant milk formula. Secondly, as to what we should do in the near future, we have actually been doing this in the last few days, and this is to step up our communication measures to make sure that all, including our residents on the mainland, understand the motives behind this or the intent behind this piece of legislation and also the contents of legislation, so that there is no misunderstanding.
Leung said the export limit was the last resort attempt to maintain adequate supplies in Hong Kong. He said statistics showed that parallel traders and travellers have been snapping up milk powder in bulk. Leung revealed that last year Hong Kong imported 40 million kilos of milk powder, almost 3 times the amount in 2008, although the population increased by only 17% over the 5-year period. NPC delegate and Basic Law Committee member Wong Yuk-shan believes the administration examined the new law properly before enforcing it. But he refused to comment on claims that the milk powder cap violates Hong Kong's mini-constitution and World Trade Organization rules. Another delegate, New People's Party lawmaker Michael Tian, pointed out that 60% of parallel traders were from Hong Kong, not the mainland, and the government's move would not solve the problem. He called on China to improve food safety standards and restore Chinese citizens' confidence in milk powder sold on the mainland so that they don't have to buy the product in Hong Kong.
Mainland customs officers have cited figures showing most parallel traders are Hong Kong residents, and one was even caught crossing the border 26 times in a single day.
Chief Secretary Carrie Lam stressed the new 2-tin cap on infant formula exports will not worsen the freight relations between Hong Kong and the mainland. ATV's Emily Sue reports.
Lawmakers from the pro-government DAB party went to Shenzhen today to see how mainland customs officials monitor people who cross the border several times a day. Since mid-January, Shenzhen officials have stepped up the monitoring of frequent travelers to crack down on parallel traders. Legislator Gary Chan, quoting the mainland city's customs chief Li Shuyu, says an estimated 20,000 people are engaged in parallel trading. And according to Li, 60% of them are from Hong Kong, contradicting the popular perception that most of those engaged in this activity are mainlanders trying to make a quick buck. Chan cited the case of one Hong Kong resident who crossed the border 26 times on one day alone. He said Shenzhen authorities will study the possibility of limiting multiple entry visas under the individual visit scheme. The DAB suggested limiting cross-border travel to 4 times a day per person. Party members said even mainland parents whose children study in Hong Kong won't make that many trips a day. Chen also noted that in recent days, most of the goods seized from parallel traders included red wine, mobile phones, and tablet computers, which means a lot less milk powder is being taken out of Hong Kong. Meanwhile, Chief Secretary Carrie Lam disagreed with claims that the limit of 2 cans of baby formula has frayed relations between Hong Kong and the mainland. She says if the government didn't act, there would not be enough supplies for locals. Lam insisted that the new restrictions are not targeted at mainland tourists specifically, and there's no need at the moment to reduce the number of mainland visitors. But she stressed that relevant government departments are analyzing the city's tourism capacity and whether more hotels and facilities should be built to accommodate the influx of mainland visitors. Emily Su, ATV News.
The elderly owner of a renovation firm that carried out work on a building that collapsed 3 years ago, killing 4 people, has been fined $10,000.
But he's still insisting he's innocent and today questioned why the buildings department had not been held responsible. ATV's Arthur Kyola reports.
Chu Wai-hing was facing up to 3 years in prison and a $1 million fine when he was found guilty last month of carrying out work on a building in To Kwa Wan that collapsed 3 years ago, killing 4 people. But Chu, who's 75 years old, is now unemployed and lives on welfare payments, escaped jail time today. The Kowloon City Magistracy slapped him with a $10,000 fine instead. Speaking afterwards, the owner of the company that carried out the renovation maintained his innocence and questioned why the buildings department wasn't held responsible, as it had not identified any problems. He said the welfare money he gets from the government would basically be used up to pay the fine. The court heard that Chu had informed the building's owner of risks because of wear and tear. Chu's lawyer also said his client suffered from high blood pressure and diabetes and had survived a stroke last year. But in handing down sentence, Magistrate Abu Bakar bin Wahab said Chu had to bear responsibility for his actions. However, there was no evidence the work to remove a pillar was directly responsible for the collapse, as it had been carried out a week before. Wahab also took into account Chu's age, financial situation, and the fact that this was his first offense. Chu was spared the full penalty and instead fined $10,000, which will have to be paid before October. The court heard the defendant was not a registered contractor when the work was carried out.